My name is Billy Murray from originally Presentation Road here, but I was born in Donegal in Ballyshannon. I was born in a hospital called The Rock, the same place that Rory Gallagher was born. He became a rock star. I didn't. Well, I'm the oldest of 4 children. I have a sister and 2 brothers, and my father was an engineer with the ESB. That's why we moved around a lot. I had 8 addresses before I came to Galway when I was 13, because my father, as I say, was an engineer. He worked with the ESB, building power stations. So he then switched jobs. He went from the ESB to Roadstone in Galway to settle his family, and he bought his parents' house up the road here, and that's what we came here in 1969, and been here pretty much ever since. Now my childhood was, as I say, we did a lot of moving, and it was tough enough, to be honest. You miss your friends. You had to move on. And, you'd have to start again. And that was the sort of, you were the outsider, pretty much, So when I came to Galway, I started to hang out around Henry Street down here, where there was loads of boys my age playing football, mostly football. And that was the start of Galway for me. And I went to the Bish then. It was okay. It was a tough enough school. I mean, at the time, kids were slapped. Not a great environment at all. The teachers like to kind of put fear into you, and there were bullies, a lot of them. Not everyone. There were some decent skins, but there was bullies in it, So I remember actually when I did my leaving, I got 1 honour, and it was 2 honours to go to university. So I had to go back to repeat, But I was inquiring about it, and I was wondering if they'd take me into Bish, and they wouldn't. And I asked a friend who I knew was going back to repeat, and I said, "What are you doing? What subjects are you doing?" And he said, Latin and rugby. And I didn't do rugby, so I wasn't getting back, So that was it. So I tried the jazz. It lasted about a month or so. I just wasn't interested. I'd lost interest, So I went off on a solo journey. I ended up in England, in London, on the building sites, and stayed there a year, came back. I've had more jobs than hot dinners. You name it, I've done it. Well, I was on road gangs, tarmac, building sites, bars, fish farms, factories, all wondering what I was going to do. Any day now I'm going to be somebody, So I ended up, I was a hospital porter as well, up in the regional here. So it kind of went on and on. I was on trawlers, oil rigs, and then I met a woman, Sue, and I fell in love with her, and we got married. And to kind of, to rise to the occasion, while we were going out, I became a weaver. And I ended up down in County Cork working with Macroom Carpets. And I eventually ended up working with Avoca hand weavers, weaving tweeds. And then I went out, we got married on the strength of that. And I then went out on my own for 3 or 4 years, and it didn't work. And the marriage didn't work either, even though we had 2 great kids. And So we separated. And then I kind of was a little bit here and there. I didn't know what was next. It took me a while to get my feet. And I ended up teaching in Dublin, teaching art. I had learned how to kind of paint and draw to try and improve my design technique with the weaving. And then when the weaving didn't work, I stayed with that. And I ended up becoming an artist, painter. I got into theatre, acting. I eventually stopped drinking at the age of 39. Drink had become a problem. And got sober, and my life started to improve. I was able to put one foot in front of the other and kept going. And eventually, I ended up going to university as a mature student. And I went there and I did an arts degree, and I did a master's in screenwriting. And I started to make a film that took me years and years to make. It was a 20-minute documentary, and it's on YouTube, and it's called A Curious Burial Arrangement. So anyway, with all my twists and turns and my idea of being an artist and a painter and all the various different efforts, the penny dropped that it wasn't paying the bills, and that there was no shame in working for money. So I became a tour guide. I've been a tour guide for the last 15 years, and I enjoy it. It pays the bills, and it isn't all year. And I get to do my writing, do my bit of painting during the winter months. So all in all, not bad. Has Galway changed? It has, of course it has. It's trebled in population. Galway was 30,000 when I came here in '69. Maybe it was even less, I don't know, but right now it's it's over 90,000. So the town has expanded big time, lots more people around, Myself, I live out in the suburbs out in Knocknacarra, and there's something like 10 or 12,000 people out there, a whole lot, and I don't know most of them. There's still connections though. I still go down and meet the people from Henry Street. There's a soccer team from that area called West United, and occasionally I give them a hand, and I enjoy it. And it's a kind of a community within a community. If you go down to the football pitch, and on the side of the pitch there'd be like 200 to 300 people, and I know them all. I know most of them, and it's great. It's kind of a way of reconnecting. Back in the 70s and in the 80s, I remember going to see Druid Theatre in Dominic Street there, I forgot the name, was it the folk venue of some sort, folk castle. But and then went on to see the parades of Mockness, and the sort of energy that was like can do. And it was something that was badly needed in Ireland and in Galway, and Galway had it. There was a can-do spirit. Why not? Let's do it. And the arts back in those days was electrifying, to be honest. It was like seriously exciting.
Can you remember the time when you were at your truly happiest?
Yeah, I do. My truly happiest was myself and Sue. We met in Galway. She arrived here from Dublin and she got a job as a teacher. She was a Montessori teacher. But one Easter, about this time of the year, maybe slightly later, I think, because the Easter was warm, beautiful. The way spring, a proper spring is beautiful. And we went to Doolin in the 1974, 75. No, sorry, a bit later, 78, 79.
Yeah.
And we went to, the temperatures were in the 80s. That's Fahrenheit, I suppose, 30 degrees or 25 degrees Celsius. And we were down in Doolin for a weekend, listening to music, having a few drinks, having a few picnics, went for a few swims, went to Fanore Beach, which was about 8 or 9 miles from Doolin, cycled, borrowed bikes, cycled to Doolin or to Fanore. And just, it was like being in a movie. It was like glitter, brilliant, happy, very happy.
Can you think of your proudest moment in life?
Proudest? Yeah, there's been a few, but my children. I have 2 children, Laura and Donald. Great days when they were born, just even, walking them in the buggies and just being a family and stuff like that, just a really, I suppose, I wasn't ready for it, wasn't prepared for it, and there's nobody can tell you really, but when it happens, that you have your own kith and kin right there, it's pretty good.
Do you have any regrets?
Yeah, regrets. Of course I have regrets. Of course I have. I think, like, there's things like my marriage didn't work.
Yeah.
That was a regret. Different friendships that worked or rather, came to an end. There were regrets with that. There was regrets about decisions made one way or another. But it's a thing that I hear a lot these days, and I'm a latecomer to it, the idea of getting on with it. And the sort of expression, life is what you make it, rather than life is what you're given. It's, you go out and make your life. And it's about doing that. And that kind of is the idea that there's no, that regrets kind of have a place, but not a big place. You have to get over it. You have to get on with being proactive.
If you could go back in time and give a young Billy one piece of advice, what would that be?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, would I listen? What would it be? Advice is a funny business. It's not like it's worth a whole lot, advice. I mean, it's maybe yourself that the idea of maybe listening to somebody that has experience in certain areas, that might be worth listening to. But maybe, I suppose, as the way you asked it, an older self talking to a younger self, I would say to me back then, just put one foot in front of the other. Keep trying.